This episode of the Coarse podcast has been brought to you by Central Sports and Graphics Incorporated, family-owned and operated screen printing and embroidery business located in a historic storefront on Old Berwick Road in the heart of Espy. They've been doing screen printing for over 20 years. They have high-quality product at a low price. Be sure to check them out. Central Sports and Graphics Incorporated, 570-784-1212. Now, on to the show.
This is Patrick Plywood McNeil, and you're listening to the Coarse Grind Podcast with Shawn.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Episode number 191 of the Coarse Grind Podcast. With you again, as always, this evening, host creator Shawn Rosler. How the hell's everyone doing? I know I'm doing a little bit better, and I don't think anyone's expecting more of me than that. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to deliver the bare minimum amount of improvement needed. I'm kidding, ha he he. It's a process, and so as I started to sit back in the seat and take a look at things and look at the landscape and decide quite honestly, was I going to stick with it? I admittedly looked back at a picture of me and my parents at the 50th live episode at Bloomsburg Theater Ensemble, and I kind of gave myself a figurative slap in the face and said, knock it off. It's time to pick back up. Because, I mean, I know for a fact my dad would be the first one to chew on me if I just chose to sit out. Because why? Because I'm, sad because I'm down. He always said, turn yourself into your work, and that's exactly what I plan to do here. So instead of, the follow-up to the Father's Day episode, which we'll talk about in just a bit, I wanted to give kind of a State of the Union, an update, if you will, to everybody. In case you've been wondering, all two of the listeners, I hope I'm kidding on that one. I can check those things. I just choose not to. And again, just kind of bring everyone up to speed as far as what's going on. Things are better. They will get better. And that's just the nature of things. So, teeing up with, have I been? Obviously, energy's low, creativity's low. And that's just, I think that's to be expected. I don't think anyone's judging or having an issue with that, as well as anybody, dear listener, that here on the show, I am an advocate for all things mental, behavioral health, and this has certainly, put our collective selves here in this household and beyond through the ringer, certainly myself as well. So being mindful of that, not trying to push the process, there was no need to, and now that I've had some time with it, I've had some ability to kind of just chill and sit with it, I think we're in a better place, and I think slowly but surely, I realize tonight, like, Father's Day episode was a damn month ago already, so, but we will pick that speed back up, I promise you. But before we talk about the future, let's talk about the recent past. The Father's Day episode, thank you to everyone who reached out and messaged the show. It really means a lot. A lot of the comments, extremely, just dear. Because obviously, it was, emotional napalm, to be honest. And I didn't know how it was going to go. This is the problem with not having a guest, though. Anytime I want to take a drink, there's going to be an awkward pause. So you're just going to have to deal with this. So hang on. What is that? ASMR from the cool kids? ASMR, I guess. So no, the Father's Day episode, the outpouring was awesome. I'm glad folks kind of got an insight into where it was I came from, maybe how the culinary arts touched me in a different way than most, males born in the late 70s. That's just the way it went, and it's because I had a good example, and I truth be told, I had two good examples, but I think my dad, from the grilling standpoint, was definitely more like a whoa factor for me. So that was a really cool episode to do. And again, to let my whole family kind of chime in on that and just memorialize a truly great man. When I step back and I think about it, I've thought about this a lot, obviously now, this podcast is going to be a memoriam to me, to my efforts someday. And I hope that it finds people's ears downstream. I hope that generations from now, locked away in some database, they find this and they're like, oh, great grandpa Shawn. He had a talk show and he did these things, and we can listen, about great grandpa Pat, or, something like that. So it's always kind of been there in the back of my mind, and obviously that kind of propels it forward. So I think combined with what I know the reaction of my dad would be, and with what this legacy, so small scale as it is, I never, I don't beat my chest about this. I know what it is. I know it's, truly punk rock in nature, and I really don't care about numbers of listeners or anything like that. I care that one person hears it and goes, wow, that's awesome. So between those two whys, start with why. Between those two, I'm definitely finding the purpose again to pick up. And I thank you all for staying wonderfully patient with me and with my navigating this process and slowly but surely sliding back into the saddle. Speaking of the saddle, kids, let's talk future. Let's talk what's going on. I have not been sitting idly by, to be truthful. I was actually supposed to record an episode tonight, and my dear guest, I would consider her dear friend at this point, had a chef quit on her literally at the beginning of the night. So she's in the hot seat right now. We're trying to rebook that, and that kind of spurred this forward. And, necessity, mother of invention, mother of purpose, I guess. So that worked out. But no, I haven't been sitting idly by. Episodes in the process of being scheduled include, speaking of that guest, a three-peat. Another guest who I just happened to run into right after I was up in Honesdale and Dad passed, and ran into him and an old classmate of mine. Hi, Bart. And I hadn't thought about having him back on. And then today, was it today? No, today. Today I'm scrolling through LinkedIn, and there he is, Mr. Fancy Pants with Martha Stewart hanging out. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to seal this up. And so we were texting tonight, and there will be another return guest, of a very sweet guest, if you will. Let that one settle. Figure that one out. Another thing that I've fallen into recently, like I need another thing to watch on TV, or, God, listen to me, I sound 45, don't I? On TV. Like I need another thing to stream. There, that's better. On Hulu, I won't give away the co-host that I'm going to have, but I will give away the content. The Bear. Sweet Mary Magdalene, Mother of God. Is that not the greatest thing that's ever crossed the airwaves with regards to a culinary drama? Now, culinary reality, we have Bourdain in the mix. So no, we're not gonna go there as far as the category goes. But culinary drama, culinary comedy, I mean, for that matter, it's amazing. If you haven't, go out to Hulu, check it out. The Bear, Maddie Matheson, who I've had kind of like an on-again, off-again relationship opinion of since I first encountered him. God damn, does he kill it on that show. And so that's kind of instilled in me a little bit more of a positive image of Chef Matheson, if you will. So there's three little trickles in as far as episodes that are on the radar for sure. I mean, these are happening next couple weeks. We'll get them on. We'll get them in. We'll get them. You'll probably hear this come out about hopefully not a week from now, but maybe 3-4 days from now. And so you'll know that you'll have some listening, should you choose to do so, in the month of August. Awkward pause for a drink. ASMR. So beyond the next three, let's talk about that. I'm looking to get back to kind of the regular pace we were on. Bi-weekly, probably episode drops. I think that's perfect. I think, you don't get sick of me. I don't get sick of you. I'd never get sick of you, but you get it, and again, I think one thing that I ask you all who listen, who enjoy this, is to just be patient. I'll get back there. I will. It's just taken me time. And there are moments where I just have to unplug completely and just go and just be quiet. And I think anyone who's ever gone through loss like this, I'm sure you get it. I'm sure I don't need to explain it. If you haven't, 0 out of 10 would not recommend. But you know, everybody does. So, you know, the pace is going to pick back up, slow but sure. What I'd like to do, just because there's a handful of things now that, you know, we're going to be traveling a little bit here, a little bit there. But I kind of want to increase that local focus. There's some cool stuff going on here, right here in the immediate area. There's some cool stuff going on up in the Northeast, up in Honesdale, my dear, dear, dear hometown. And just because, you know, selling the house up there doesn't mean I'm selling Honesdale. I've come to realize that, you know, what I always in my mind equated to, you know, home was always about that address, that house, those things. It was never about that. It was about the people. It was about the surroundings. It was about just the air you breathe when you're up there is so much different. And so, you know, between here and there and, you know, I don't know, maybe some short trips down to Philly, over to Jersey. I don't know. But, you know, I'm going to kind of pull back from the network focus and really kind of focus on those sites within striking distance that I think everyone should be aware of. Because I think really for you, dear listener, that is probably far more useful because it's something you can go to, you know. Still want to have the old friends on. Still, you know, listen, if someone amazing is on a Chopped, is on a Guy's Grocery Games, is on a Top Chef. Notice how I reordered those now, kids. You know, of course I'll reach out. If their story's like amazing and worth telling and they're doing something really cool, I definitely want to get them there. But really, that local flair is where I kind of want to go back to, you know, kind of start. I don't want to say start over. That sounds so goddamn cliche. But then again, when I'm looking at my next guest, it is exactly what I'm kind of trying to do. So call it start over, call it whatever you want. You know, that local taste is going to be up there. And if, you know, any of you listening have this, and I say hole in the wall lovingly, like hole in the wall that you can't quite convince somebody else to love, but god damn, you're enamored with it. And you'd walk over broken glass to get there to have like Coney Island here in the coal region. You know, I would have sworn off on had you told me about it. And I'll never forget one of the first days that I worked for a local health system. My now old buddy took me there and said, yo, you got to try this. And it was all the same freaking color, like this canned chili brown and, you know, gray. And it just did not look appealing. But man, as soon as you hit that first bite, you got it. And I ate way too much and I was in digestive hell the rest of the day. But I tell you that to tell you this, if you have a place like that, if you know a culinary artisan, creator, whatever, who's doing some amazing stuff that you want to propel upwards, let me know. I'd love to have them on. I'd love to talk to them all about it. So again, between those 3 episodes and picking back up speed, obviously, if you can count, this is 191, man, 200's within sight. I don't want to put anything false or anything crazy out there. 200 is going to be another episode. I don't have it in me to do a live thing. I know, goddamn, you know, COVID hit and, you know, we did 50, we did 100, both great live shows, both great live purposes, both great fundraisers. And 150, we had to go virtual and we had the greatest virtual guest ever in Dr. Serena Kajani, who is just amazing. Go out and follow everything she does because she's just awesome. And she'll remind you to eat your fiber. That's her thing. And I know at that point I had these grandiose ideas that once this COVID son of a bitch, you know, goes away, we're going to be dancing again on a stage, raising money for the hungry. Like that's what I was hoping for. Little did I know I'd lose my dad in the meantime. And I'm not saying that to evoke pity or anything like that. I'm just saying that to say like, look, shit, we don't know what's going to happen. And then it happens. So 200, you know, again, it's not going to be a big to do. I'm going to try to get a special guest. I'll do what I can. But again, I'm not going to put undue pressure on myself, on the platform, on the show, on my producer. it's just not the right time, man. Listen, we do it for 225. It's fantastic. If I put out a, fundraising link for 200, everybody come check it out. Everybody do me a favor. Let's do it that way. Let's do it for the right reasons, because at the end of the day, coming to the live show was always all about helping the hungry. And I would want that to be no different. But I promise you, downstream, if the wheels keep turning, and I do feel like they're going to, there will be another live episode. I know I was in talks with BTE before, actually, as we were starting to come out of COVID, and they're by far not opposed, because our crowd was awesome, really good, except for the guy that had to get thrown out in the first 2 minutes. That was weird. Still one of the weirdest moments I've ever had performance-wise. So we'll see. That's the, honest to God, that's the best that I can give you. We'll see. And I don't think that's a bad place to be, because it's neither no nor yes. It's just maybe. So living in that space, living in that wonderful uncertainty of what's it going to be, it's not a bad place. It really isn't. But again, I wanted to hop on a mic tonight as, again, a State of the Union, an update, whatever you want to call it, and just state for the record that the rumors of the Coarse Grind podcast's demise are grossly exaggerated and fabricated completely. So we are here to stay, and we are here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and the bubblegum shop just ran out. So with that in mind, kids, stay tuned. That's all I'm asking you. Stay tuned. Go back, give listens, lots of old episodes. I'm sure you didn't listen to them all. They're all worth listening to. Couple exceptions. I won't name names. Now I'm coming off as judgy. So just stay tuned. If I can ask you one thing, stay tuned. There's going to be a lot more, and it's going to come eventually. And for those listening, for those still listening, you have no idea how much gratitude I have in my heart for you as listeners, for you as fans, for you as friends. I'll be dead honest. That's definitely one aspect of things that have gotten me through this. So I appreciate you all. I love you all dearly, and I hope to make more great listening for you as the episodes roll on. So this has been episode number 191 of the Coarse Grind podcast. State of the Union update, if you will. Our producer, as always, this evening has been the lovely, voluptuous Johnny Leland Robinson, a.k.a. the Reverend Johnny Lamoria. Be sure to check out all of his pirate libertarian happenings in the 18431 and beyond. Next episode, I smell 3P. That's all I'm going to say. Stay tuned. Are you passing through Central Pennsylvania and looking for one of the best dining experiences and craft brew menus around? Look no further. Turkey Hill Brewing Company and 991 Central Road in Bloomsburg, PA has everything you could ask for and then some. Service, food, beer together. Unbelievable. Be sure to check them out. Call them today for reservations. 570-387-8422. Call today.